Hey there! Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. All timestamps are below. Skip right to what you love most. So, without wasting a single jiffy, let's roll.
In Petrograd's frozen streets, hunger rules the living. The people rise for bread and hope as winter turns against the crown. Starving soldiers refuse to fight. Their rifles turn inward. Loyalty shatters, and rebellion spreads through the snow like wildfire. Crowds flood the streets. The Tsar's power crumbles as workers, women, and soldiers march together, demanding freedom and bread. Alone in candlelight, Nicholas signs away his throne. The Romanov Empire fades, swallowed by the people's fury. Across frozen rails, Lenin returns home. His arrival sparks belief. The revolution finally finds its leader, its voice, its fire. Storms gather over Petrograd. Bolts of gunfire echo through the Winter Palace. The old regime falls beneath red shadows.
It's done.
Lenin speaks. Peace, bread, land. The crowd erupts. From chaos, a new nation rises beneath a sea of red banners. Russia tears itself apart. Red and white armies clash across frozen fields, their cries carried by smoke and snow. Famine haunts the villages. Families starve, soldiers seize grain, and the promise of revolution freezes beneath despair. Over Moscow, the red flag ascends. The Soviet Union is born. Its dawn forged from fire, frost, and faith.
The empire falls. Lenin rises. His decrees reshape Russia. Banks seized, land reclaimed. The people cheer, unaware of the cost of their new power. Revolution turns inward. The Cheka hunts enemies in shadows. Gunfire echoes through the snow. Fear becomes law. Survival demands blood. Peace signed in cold silence. Trotsky concedes what pride resists. Russia trades its empire for time to breathe and fight again later. A crowd cheers. 2 shots ring out. Lenin falls, wounded but alive. The revolution hardens. Compassion gives way to control.
They will not silence us.
Hunger spreads. Soldiers seize grain. Towns starve. Factories die. Lenin calls it sacrifice, an iron path to survival, paved with suffering. Frozen seas burn with rebellion. Sailors cry for freedom. Cannons answer. Silence returns, but faith in the revolution dies beneath the ice. Markets reopen. Laughter returns. Lenin calls it retreat to advance. Life stirs again, yet control still shadows every smile. Weakness grips his hands. He warns, beware of Stalin. The voice that moved nations fades into stillness and memory. Snow falls on mourners. The red coffin moves through silence. Stalin watches beside the body, grief and ambition intertwined. In dim corridors, Stalin's steps echo.
Has been passed.
Before Lenin's portrait,
no one yet
power shifts
the
quietly. The revolution enters a darker, unspoken dawn.
Moscow, 1924.
Lenin is gone. In the Kremlin silence, rivals argue, while Stalin listens, calm and patient. Power begins to lean quietly his way. Late nights, cigarette smoke, endless lists. Stalin studies, edits, controls. Loyalty builds slowly, factory by factory, name by name. Influence becomes structure, and structure becomes power. Trotsky speaks, but the crowds grow distant. Headlines shift, loyalty fades. One letter seals his fate. The revolution's voice walks alone into exile. His face rises across Moscow. Songs, banners, devotion. From his window, Stalin watches, half smiling. A leader turns into a symbol. A man becomes an idea. Steel burns, cities rise, workers march. The 5-year plan remakes a nation. Stalin signs each target with certainty. Progress forged from iron and fear. Trucks arrive, fields burn, families resist. Wheat taken, lives broken. In distant halls, it's called progress. On the ground, it's survival or surrender. Ukraine, 1932. Silence spreads where harvests once stood. Grain locked away, children fading. The soil itself mourns, feeding an empire that no longer hears. Night knocks quietly. Names vanish. Whispers replace trust. Stalin's pen decides who breathes. In the darkness, fear becomes the state's new language. Courtrooms fill, cameras flash. Old comrades confess to invented sins. Stalin listens from afar. His truth, now the only truth that matters. Red Square erupts with glory. Tanks roll, crowds cheer. Stalin stands above it all, silent, eternal. The revolution lives on, but its soul is gone.
Moscow, 1939. Two enemies sign in silence. Red meets black, hand meets ink. A pact born of fear, sealing the world's fate in shadows. From east and west, iron moves through fog. Germany and the Soviets divide Poland. A nation crushed between empires as Europe's heart begins to bleed. June 1941. The sky explodes in fire. German armies storm eastward. Stalin awakens to betrayal. The monster he fed now turns against him. They march east through smoke and ruin. Faces hollow, hearts burning. Behind them, their homeland burns. A retreat of bodies, not of spirit. Winter locks the city in hunger and silence. Families scream for food, soldiers for hope. Through snow and fire, Leningrad endures, unbroken. Stalin's voice echoes through static. Brothers and sisters. Across the empire, fear turns to will. From despair, unity rises. The nation awakens. Blizzards bury tanks and men alike. Moscow stands defiant in snow and fire. The first German tank burns. Hope returns to frozen hearts. Factories blaze in the Urals. New tanks, new soldiers, new resolve. Not one step back. The sleeping giant rises, ready to strike back. The city burns, but its spirit won't fall. Street by street, they fight through dust and fire. Stalingrad holds. The tide of war shifts. From ashes, the Red Army marches west. Factories roar, soldiers chant. Stalin watches dawn break. The Soviet Union stands, unbroken, unstoppable.
The blizzard hides an army reborn. From the white void, steel giants advance, encircling Stalingrad. In the frozen dawn, the hunters become the hunted. Trapped in ruins and hunger, the German army withers. Soviet guns tighten the ring. In the endless snow, only surrender or death remains. In Moscow's glow, Stalin listens as victory spreads across the map. Outside, soldiers cheer in snow and smoke. A nation breathes through sacrifice. Across the plains of Kursk, thunder meets steel. Thousands of tanks collide in fire and fury, the earth itself trembling beneath their charge. The Dnieper is crossed. Amid ruins and tears, the red flag rises once more. Kiev lives again, scarred but unbroken. The march west continues. Through mud and fire, the Red Army surges forward. Cities fall, banners rise. The tide of vengeance rolls toward the heart of Germany. In burning Warsaw, the brave stand alone. From afar, the Soviets watch. Flames consume hope as the river runs red. Freedom silenced in smoke. Over icy waters, soldiers build bridges of courage. Under fire and frost, the red banner advances. The river becomes a symbol of endurance. Germany burns on the horizon. Soviet columns thunder west, each step heavier with memory. Ahead lies Berlin, the end of war, the birth of vengeance. In the Kremlin shadow, Stalin watches his empire rise from ruin. Victory is his, yet behind that gaze lies the dawn of domination.
The Soviet storm descends upon Berlin. Artillery roars, tanks advance through fire and rubble. The final battle begins. Hitler's capital trembles beneath the coming thunder. The city burns. Civilians flee through shattered streets as officers destroy their past. Smoke rises like a final confession. The red flag draws near. Tanks crush resistance. Soldiers fight through fire and fear. Every street is a graveyard of empire. Berlin falls, its heart claimed by the Red Army. The Reichstag burns. Amid bullets and smoke, one soldier lifts the red banner high. Victory and sorrow share one breath. The Third Reich dies beneath it. In the bunker's silence, madness meets its end. Papers signed, cigarettes burn, a single shot echoes. The empire collapses, its master consumed by his own shadow. On the Reichstag steps, exhausted soldiers cheer through tears. Berlin lies in ruin, but triumph rises from the ashes. The motherland's vengeance is complete. In the Kremlin's golden halls, Stalin speaks. The Soviet people have triumphed. Across the ruins of Europe, victory parades and sorrow march under one flag. The guns fall silent, but the world divides. Stalin, Churchill, Truman, one table, two futures. The Iron Curtain descends, splitting freedom from fear. From Red Square to the Kremlin towers, a new power rises. Banners wave, factories roar. Stalin's empire stands unchallenged, forged in sacrifice and steel. Endless graves whisper of the cost. A mother weeps, children play beneath new skies. The land heals slowly. The war is over, but peace is fragile.
Moscow rises from the ashes. Workers rebuild. Children clear rubble. Soviet women weld. Sparks fly. A new hope glows, reborn in the shadow of the Kremlin. Stalin walks dark corridors, boots echoing. Guards stand at attention. Cold eyes, cold power. Maps of Europe, enemies marked in red. Absolute control. Prisoners march frozen gulags, faces beaten by frost. In the distance, a blood-red dawn. One signature sealing countless fates in the dead of winter. The world divides, red versus blue. Truman speaks, Stalin listens. Berlin, Moscow, Washington. Three capitals, one world on the edge of a storm. Planes drop food over Berlin, parachutes fluttering in the sky. Soviet soldiers block rail lines. A child catches a chocolate bar, hope amid the walls. Scientists work in shadows, assembling components for the unthinkable. A mushroom cloud rises. Stalin watches, eyes reflecting the dawn of nuclear power. Flags rise, treaties signed. Generals salute, cameras flash. Stalin's portrait looming. Tanks, missiles, soldiers in perfect formation. A display of power and fear. Rocket engines roar at Baikonur. Countdown echoes. The R-7 pierces the sky. Soviet citizens cheer. The dawn of space power. Ambition beyond Earth's bounds. Red flags wave. Loudspeakers blast unity. Children chant loyalty in classrooms. Posters of Stalin and Lenin on every wall. The machine of propaganda turns without pause. Snow falls over the Kremlin. Silence fills the air. Stalin stares at an unfinished letter, his reflection flickering in a glass of vodka. The world sleeps, unstable, unchallenged.
The Kremlin at night. Snow swirls. Dim lights flicker. Stalin's hand trembles, his life slipping away. The clock ticks. History shifts in silence. Dawn over Moscow. Whispers spread like wildfire. Stalin is dead. Factory workers halt. An elderly woman sheds a tear. Red Square fills with disbelief. Endless lines stretch before Stalin's coffin. Grief fills the air as citizens lay flowers. A banner reads, "The Father of Nations." The era ends. The Kremlin conference hall is thick with tension. Beria, Malenkov, Khrushchev, ambition and fear clash in the air. One wrong move and death awaits. Khrushchev speaks fiercely, slamming the table. We need change. Generals listen cautiously, while Beria watches, suspicious. A new power rises from the Kremlin's shadows. Rain-slicked streets. Secret police race to capture Beria. Once untouchable, now the hunter is hunted. Shouts echo through the Kremlin's marble halls. Stalin's banners fall, replaced with hope. Children read new books. Khrushchev speaks of reform. Citizens' cautious optimism grows as sunlight breaks through. Khrushchev stands before the party, the truth spilling out. We must face our past, shocked faces. A nation confronts its history, trembling but free. Scientists gather around blueprints. Rockets rise into a pink sky. Khrushchev smiles as the USSR reaches the stars. A new chapter begins in space. Moscow's skyline glows at sunset. Families laugh in parks. Khrushchev addresses the UN. The Cold War's shadow looms, but the future feels bright.
Beneath melting ice, submarines prowl unseen. Moscow and Washington tense, eyes locked across a fragile world. Missiles move closer, tempers sharper. Retaliation feels inevitable. Cuba rises, green jungles, steel resolve. Castro shakes Soviet hands, sealing fate in smoke and sunlight. Beneath tractors, hidden missiles wait to fire. Night seas carry silent cargo, Soviet ships bound for Cuba. American planes snap photos. Kennedy slams the table, proof undeniable. The world edges toward war. October 1962, clocks ticking like hearts. Fear grips cities and bunkers alike. 2 men, 2 nations, 1 fragile planet. Each second could be the end. Steel giants form a wall across blue waters. Eyes through binoculars, fingers near triggers. Miles apart, 1 wrong move, history burns. In shadows, whispers replace threats. A message crosses oceans. Remove yours, we'll remove ours. Khrushchev reads, weary but hopeful. Dawn breaks on peace. Rain falls over Moscow as pens decide destinies. Missiles withdrawn, tempers cooled. In Havana, fury ignites. Pride lost, peace painfully won. Khrushchev's voice trembles on Soviet screens. Relief spreads through homes. Radios quiet, skies clear. Humanity exhales. The world steps back from oblivion. Power's echo fades in Kremlin halls. Generals murmur. Loyalty fractures. Khrushchev sits alone, staring at a spinning globe. Autumn winds whisper his decline. The Kremlin grows cold, papers delivered, eyes averted. His reign ends with silence, not fire. Outside, the red flag waves, unchanged, eternal.
In 1964, Moscow stood still beneath a leaden sky. Brezhnev, adorned in medals, took his place in history, quiet, unyielding, promising stability to a fractured empire. Red Square echoed with pride, but beneath the tanks and missiles, fatigue lingered. Brezhnev waved, a faint smile masking the burden of a hollow power. In the roaring factories, workers toiled tirelessly, but decay seeped into the Soviet dream. Amid the sparks, silent exhaustion gripped the very soul of industry. Under the watchful gaze of searchlights, Europe remained divided. A boy whispered through the wall, while Soviet soldiers kept the cold, silent division intact. Amid concrete giants, life carried on. A mother stirs soup. Veterans play chess. Their eyes reflect the quiet endurance of a dream grown distant and faint. Brezhnev's voice echoed in the party halls, heavy with tired pride. The empire's pulse dimmed as the world outside grew silent, held together by fading promises. Missiles thundered through forests, while the world teetered on the brink of annihilation. Fear hung thick in the air, and every moment felt like the last. Behind closed doors, rebellion whispered. A writer hid his truth beneath the floorboards, while the KGB's watchful eyes continued their silent, unyielding surveillance. Brezhnev's hands trembled as he signed yet another decree. The man who once ruled half the world now faded into shadow, his empire mourning in silence. Moscow stood in winter's grasp, its heartbeat faint. A new generation inherited a decaying empire, unsure of the dream their forebears once fought for.
Soviet helicopters pierce the night sky, cutting through the desert winds. Tanks roll into Afghanistan. The war begins, not with rage, but with weariness. Through narrow mountain passes, Soviet soldiers move with caution. Gunfire echoes, dust swirls, and comrades fall. The mountains consume all, leaving only silence. In a torn Soviet camp, soldiers sit in silence, staring into the void. Letters from home offer no comfort, just endless endurance beneath the weight of war. Afghan fighters emerge at dawn, galloping with rifles raised. Soviet outposts crumble in chaos, the invisible pressure of the Mujahideen making the empire bend. Moscow's streets bustle with life, unaware of the truth. Propaganda spins victory, while families mourn, kept in the dark by the lie of success. Gray coffins line the tarmac, draped in red. A mother stands still, her scarf fluttering. The illusion of glory fades, only grief remains. In the UN hall, diplomats condemn Soviet actions. The rhetoric thickens, and the Soviet flag, once feared, now stands defensive, a symbol of isolation. Inside the Kremlin, Andropov stares at Afghanistan maps, his trembling hand circling Kandahar, the weight of leadership haunted by the ghosts of past certainty. Soviet soldiers write of confusion and fear. A letter burns in the desert night, the flame reflecting their tearful eyes, the sky above divided between two worlds. Afghan and Soviet bodies lie silent in the dust. A soldier kneels, his empty eyes staring into a land that's defeated empires and will again. As the snow falls over Red Square, Gorbachev steps out of the Zeal limo. His eyes are set, his mission clear. Change is coming. In the Kremlin's light-filled office, Gorbachev speaks urgently. We cannot live like this anymore. Across the USSR, the air shifts. Truth begins to surface. In the dimly lit Politburo, uneasy murmurs fill the air. He's moving too fast. Fear and pride mix. The old order knows it's losing control. A newsroom hums with new energy. Journalists dare to write the truth. On the streets, Moscow buzzes with conversation.
They can't take it back now.
Silence shatters. Freedom finds its voice.
Comrade General Secretary, the reactor
In Pripyat's eerie silence, Gorbachev learns of Chernobyl's true scale. The weight of secrecy cracks, and the truth poisons an empire of silence. In Soviet markets, empty shelves reflect a broken system. Gorbachev's frustration grows. Reform battles against a collapsing reality. A sea of flags wave across the Baltic states. The Baltic Way connects generations, defying decades of Soviet rule. Identity, long suppressed, surges back to life. In a dim bunker, military pride wanes. The army is humiliated, a general declares. The red flag no longer inspires. It has become a relic of the past. Inside a church, candles burn in the dark. The faithful cross themselves. Their tears mingle with a reborn faith. Doubt and belief
now coexist in the air. The Berlin Wall trembles under the weight of thousands chanting for freedom. The floodlights flicker, and with it, the Iron Curtain begins to fall.
What a journey! We saw how history rose and crumbled. Click on the left video to watch the rise and fall of Julius Caesar, or click on the right video to watch the rise of Adolf Hitler. Keep exploring, keep learning. Until next time.